What's up, everybody? So after 3 years of posting content on this channel, I'm just now realizing I don't know that we've ever talked about bisexuality. Like, I don't know that there's ever been a video that I've made on this topic specifically, so I guess better late than never, right? This is a very interesting thing because I've had the conversation of, would you date somebody who's bisexual? I've had this conversation with both men, gay men, and straight women. And although it's a totally different, experience, of course, to be a gay man versus a straight woman, I find that there is a parallel in how bisexual men are viewed. So I want to talk about this in this video. First off, I think you could argue that being bisexual is just as taboo, if not maybe even more taboo than being gay, because there is this assumption, right, that when you're bisexual, are you really bisexual or do you just not know what you want, right? A lot of people have this assumption that somebody can't really be bisexual, right? They have to have a very strong preference and maybe they're just confused or whatever. I think the other assumption is you're just promiscuous. You're just promiscuous and you'll have sex with everyone and everything. By the way, I don't agree with those assumptions that I just said. I'm just saying I think there's a general view of bisexuality that way. And that is what makes me have a soft spot for bisexual men, because as a gay person, I'm like, how dare I project all those preconceived notions on bisexual men when people have a lot of those same preconceived notions about me as a gay person, right? About gay people. So I think it must be really tough to be genuinely bisexual and get that sort of reaction from all sides, right? I have straight female friends who have said, I would never date a bisexual guy because deep down, I can't fulfill him. Like, he clearly has this gay need or desire or urge. And it's funny because I've heard the exact same thing from gay men who have said, it will always be easier for a bisexual guy to be with a woman, right? He's always gonna have that attraction to women that might pull him away from a standard like gay relationship and the hardships that come with a gay relationship. So I totally understand those perspectives, but the issue with those perspectives is that, again, you're then projecting all these ideas, all these conclusions on somebody based on what they tell you their sexuality is. Which, like, how can we do that as gay people to other people with another sort of taboo or atypical sexuality? And I've never said this to my female friends who have shared that perspective, but I feel like deep down it's slightly homophobic for them to be like, oh, you mess around with guys, then there's no way, or you have had a boyfriend or you have had sex with guys, then no way, off limits. It's almost like then the guy is tainted and they can't see the person as someone to build a relationship with, someone to have a romance with. I think there's something really troublesome there from both sides, from both the perspective of straight women and from gay men, that instantly they sort of pigeonhole a bisexual man into a specific category. Now, I'm the first to admit, if I were to date somebody bisexual, I would be concerned that yes, it would always be easier for them to be with a woman. But at a certain point, you also have to just like have faith in the person that you're getting to know, right? It's just like if you get with somebody who's been divorced or who's cheated on somebody before or who's had an STD in the past, are you going to suddenly assume that those exact same things are going to happen with you? Your relationship with them would lead to divorce. You would get an STD from them. They would cheat on you. I think the average person would say no. The average person would be more open-minded about those things, about somebody's past. So why determine that you're just not compatible because of what they vulnerably share with you, that yes, they date women and yes, they date men? Now, right now I'm talking about a lot of like hypothetical, theoretical stuff, but I do want to share a story. When I was in my early 20s, I went on a handful of dates with this guy. He was so charming, so sexy. I would say like collegiate sexy, like scholarly sexy. Like he was really fit and handsome, but he was like a super nerd, like a sexy nerd, we'll say. And he had shared with me that he was bisexual, but that he did not date women anymore because he felt like at a certain point you have to make a choice as a bisexual person between men and women. And I remember even then, like, I was so inexperienced. This is me at like 22, 23, maybe 24 at the latest. So I was very inexperienced with sex, dating, still like in, you know, the social aspect of being gay. And even then, it marked me as a really bizarre comment that he felt like he had to choose between men and women, and that once that decision is made, like, you can't really go backwards. And I thought this was so bizarre because I'm not bisexual, but I just assumed if you're bisexual, you might date a woman today, tomorrow you might meet a guy that you really want to date, you date him instead, and then maybe the next relationship is with a woman again. So the fact that he felt like it had to be black and white, like he had to make a choice to go one way or the other, I found very strange. And I actually think that's a very old school way of thinking. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I find that thinking very old school. Like that you're living, you have these parameters around you in society and you must live within those confines. I think it's maybe more something of my generation, millennials and Gen Z, to be like, you don't get to tell me what I'm going to do with my life. Like, I don't have to work for corporate America. I don't have to wear a suit and tie to work. I don't have to date women or date men the way that you want me to. So I thought it was bizarre, but when I look at it now, based on how I started this video, what I brought up, I guess bisexual men and women probably do feel a pressure, an additional pressure to stick to gay or straight paths because of that judgment otherwise, or that like resentment and that exclusion that they experience from all sides if they stick to I'm bisexual. Personally, even though I can't understand being, like I can't relate to the idea of being bisexual because I came out of the womb looking for a man, like I've never had an interest, romantic or sexual, in women. I can't relate to it, but I think there's actually something very beautiful about it, that somebody, I guess, is more attracted to the personality and like the physical aspects don't, my understanding at least is that the physicality of a person, they're attracted to all kinds of appearances, right? Like breasts, penises, I guess like different, what's the word? Appendages. I assume that inherently that means they care more about the person's personality, intellect, like what the character, what the person brings to the table, as opposed to their physicality. Whereas for me, physicality is like such a big part of attraction and compatibility. So I actually think there's something beautiful about the openness of bisexuality. But I find that most people I know don't agree. So curious what you guys think about this.